Marcus Williams was perfect on paper. Stanford MBA, 10 years management experience, stellar references, leadership awards. He applied to 47 companies in 6 months. Every application went through HireRight AI, an artificial intelligence screening system used by Fortune 500 companies. Marcus never got a single interview. Not one. He couldn't understand why. His resume was flawless, his experience unmatched, but the AI rejected him every time. Automated emails. We've decided to move forward with other candidates. No explanation, no feedback, just rejection after rejection. Marcus fell into depression, lost his apartment, moved back with his elderly mother. On day 183, he left a suicide note. "I'm not good enough for the algorithm." Investigation after his death revealed the horrifying truth. HireRight AI had been trained on historical hiring data from 1990 to 2010. Data that reflected decades of racial bias, age discrimination, and gender inequality. The AI learned those biases perfectly. It rejected candidates with black-sounding names, 74% more often than identical resumes with white-sounding names. It downgraded applicants over age 40. It penalized women for employment gaps. And it did all this invisibly. No human ever saw Marcus's resume. The AI filtered him out before any recruiter looked. Marcus Williams died believing he wasn't good enough. The truth, he never had a chance. The algorithm decided his fate in 0.3 seconds based on his name, his age, his graduation year. 47 companies, 47 AI rejections, 1 suicide, and millions more candidates filtered by the same biased system. From which city in the world are you watching this video today? If algorithmic discrimination concerns you, please subscribe. We expose how artificial intelligence amplifies human bias. Marcus Williams grew up in Chicago, South Side. His mother, Dorothy Williams, worked 2 jobs to send him to good schools. Marcus was brilliant, straight-A student, National Merit Scholar, full scholarship to Stanford University. Class of 2005, graduated with honors. MBA from Stanford Business School, class of 2010, top of his class. Everything Marcus achieved, he earned. No shortcuts, no privileges, just hard work and intelligence. After graduation, Marcus landed at Goldman Sachs, associate position, investment banking. Grueling hours but excellent training. He excelled. Promoted twice in 5 years. By 2015, he was vice president, managing teams, leading projects. Clients loved him, colleagues respected him. Marcus had made it, the American dream realized. But Marcus wanted more. Entrepreneurship, impact. 2017, he left Goldman to join a fintech startup, director of operations. The company grew fast. Marcus built systems, scaled teams, raised funding. By 2020, the startup had 200 employees and 50 million in revenue. Marcus was proud. Then COVID hit. The startup couldn't survive. Shutdown December 2020. Marcus was 42 years old, unemployed, but not worried. His resume was incredible. Stanford MBA, Goldman Sachs, successful startup scaling, leadership experience. Surely he'd find something quickly. January 2021, Marcus started applying. Senior management positions, director roles, VP opportunities. He targeted Fortune 500 companies, tech firms, financial institutions, consulting groups. He sent his resume to carefully selected companies, personalized cover letters, tailored applications, professional, polished, perfect. The responses came fast, automated emails within hours. Thank you for your interest in our senior director position. After careful review, we've decided to move forward with other candidates. We wish you the best in your job search. Every single one. Same template, same rejection. Marcus applied to 10 companies in January, 0 interviews. February. Another 15 applications, 0 interviews. Marcus was confused. My resume is strong. My experience is exactly what they're looking for. Why aren't they even calling me? He asked friends for resume reviews. Everyone said the same thing. This is a great resume. You should be getting interviews. March. Marcus learned about applicant tracking systems, ATS, software that scans resumes before humans see them. He reformatted his resume for ATS optimization, keywords, proper headers, clean formatting, applied to 12 more companies, 0 interviews. April. Marcus was frustrated. 37 applications, not a single phone screening, not even a rejection call, just automated emails. He started questioning everything. Is my resume too long? Too short? Am I applying to the wrong positions? Should I remove my MBA? Does it make me look overqualified? May. Financial pressure mounted. Unemployment benefits weren't enough. Marcus couldn't afford his San Francisco apartment. Rent was $4,000 monthly. Savings depleting. He moved back to Chicago, his mother's house, the same house he'd left for Stanford 23 years ago. Dorothy, now 71, welcomed him home. But Marcus felt like a failure. June. Depression set in. Marcus applied to 47 companies total, 0 interviews. He stopped personalizing cover letters, stopped targeting specific roles, just applied, spray and pray. Nothing worked. He'd sit at his mother's kitchen table, laptop open. Indeed, LinkedIn, Glassdoor, apply, 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 rejection, rejection, rejection. What Marcus didn't know was that 43 of the 47 companies used the same system, HireRight AI, an artificial intelligence platform that automatically screened job applications. Companies loved it. Screen thousands of resumes in minutes, identify top candidates with 98% accuracy, reduce hiring time by 60%, eliminate unconscious bias. That's what the marketing said. HireRight AI was created by TechHire Solutions. Founded 2018, CEO was Brandon Mitchell, 34 years old, Stanford computer science dropout, serial entrepreneur. Brandon saw hiring as inefficient. Companies waste millions on recruiters reading resumes manually. AI can do it better, faster, more objectively. He raised $40 million in venture capital, built HireRight AI, sold it to Fortune 500 companies. By 2021, over 500 companies used HireRight AI, processing millions of applications annually. How did it work? The AI was trained on successful hiring data. Brandon's team collected 20 years of hiring records from partner companies. Resumes of people who were hired and performed well versus resumes of people who were rejected or performed poorly. Fed this data to machine learning algorithms. The AI learned patterns. What makes a good candidate? The algorithm identified correlations, certain schools, certain employers, certain keywords, certain name patterns. But here's the problem. The historical data was biased. 1990 to 2010 hiring data reflected decades of discrimination, predominantly white male executives, few women in leadership, few minorities in management. The AI learned these patterns as success markers. It learned that candidates from Ivy League schools were better, that candidates with white-sounding names were safer bets, that candidates with continuous employment histories were more reliable, that younger candidates were more dynamic. The AI didn't think it was being racist or sexist or ageist. It was just optimizing, finding patterns that correlated with historical success. But those patterns were fundamentally discriminatory. Marcus Williams fit several rejection criteria perfectly. Name Marcus Williams. The algorithm flagged Williams as neutral, but Marcus correlated with African American demographics. Historical data showed candidates named Marcus were hired at lower rates. Age 42. The AI downgraded candidates over 40. Historical data showed younger hires received better performance reviews because younger employees were less likely to challenge management or negotiate aggressively. Employment gap, COVID layoff. The AI penalized gaps over 6 months. Historical data showed continuous employment correlated with reliability, ignoring legitimate reasons for gaps. Every time Marcus applied, the AI scored his resume. 0.3 seconds. Name analysis. age calculation, employment timeline check, school evaluation, his score 42 out of 100. Rejection threshold 60. Marcus never had a chance. No human recruiter ever saw his application. The AI filtered him out automatically. And Marcus had no idea. The rejection emails said, after careful review. They implied human evaluation. But there was no review, no care, just algorithm, cold, instant, biased. July 2021, Marcus stopped applying, stopped getting out of bed. His mother worried. "Baby, you need to keep trying. Something will come up." But Marcus had lost hope. "Mum, I'm not good enough. My degree doesn't matter. My experience doesn't matter. Nobody wants me." "Dorothy, that's not true. You're brilliant. You've accomplished so much." "Marcus, then why won't anyone even interview me?" August. Marcus saw a therapist. Diagnosed with major depression. Prescribed medication. The therapist asked about triggers. "Marcus, I can't get a job. I've applied to 47 companies. Not one interview. I'm a failure." Therapist: "That doesn't mean you're a failure. The job market is tough. It's not personal." But it felt personal to Marcus. Every rejection was a judgment. "You're not good enough. You don't belong. We don't want you." September. Marcus's savings were gone. He couldn't contribute to household expenses. Dorothy supported him with her retirement income. Marcus felt worthless. "I'm a burden. 42 years old, living with my mother. No job, no prospects. What happened to my life?" October. Marcus attempted suicide. Pills. Dorothy found him in time. Hospital. Psychiatric hold. 72 hours. Marcus was released with safety plan, intensive therapy, medication adjustment. But the depression remained, the hopelessness, the conviction that he'd failed, that society had rejected him, that he had no value. November. Marcus tried one more time, applied to 3 companies. All used HireRight AI. All rejected him within hours. Marcus laughed bitterly. They didn't even read it. How can they reject me so fast? He didn't know about the AI. He thought humans were reviewing his application and instantly deciding he wasn't worthy. The psychological damage was profound. December 15th, 2021. Marcus Williams wrote a suicide note. Handwritten. 3 pages. "To anyone who reads this, I am not good enough for the world you've created. I have an MBA from Stanford. I worked at Goldman Sachs. I built a company. But none of that matters. 47 companies looked at my resume and decided I wasn't worth a conversation, not even a phone call. I'm 42 years old and invisible. The algorithm has spoken. I'm not good enough. I don't belong. I'm sorry, Mom. I tried, but I can't keep fighting rejection. I'm tired. I'm done." December 16th, 2021. Dorothy Williams found her son. Overdose. Paramedics couldn't revive him. Marcus Williams died at age 42. Cause of death: suicide. Underlying cause: algorithmic discrimination that he never knew existed. Dorothy was devastated. "My baby. My brilliant baby. He thought he was a failure, but he was perfect. He did everything right. Why wouldn't anyone hire him?" She started investigating. Marcus's laptop, application history, 47 companies. She called them. "Why didn't you interview my son? He was qualified. He was brilliant." Most didn't respond. Those who did gave vague answers. "We had many qualified candidates. We went with someone whose experience better matched our needs." Dorothy hired a lawyer. Civil rights attorney specializing in employment discrimination. The lawyer, Jonathan Pierce, reviewed Marcus's case. "This is systemic. 47 applications, 0 interviews, stellar qualifications. Something's wrong." Jonathan filed information requests, company hiring data, application processes. Most companies refused. Proprietary information, trade secrets. But one insider leaked. Rebecca Zhao worked as a recruiter at FinServe Corp., one of the companies that rejected Marcus. Rebecca was troubled by what she'd seen. I never saw most applications. The AI filtered them out. When I asked why certain candidates weren't making it through, my manager said the AI knew best. Trust the algorithm. Rebecca provided internal documents, HireRight AI implementation guide, rejection rate data, demographic breakdowns of accepted versus rejected candidates. Jonathan analyzed the data. Devastating patterns, candidates with African American sounding names, rejected 74% more often than identical resumes with European American names. Candidates over age 40, rejected 63% more often. Women with employment gaps, rejected 58% more often. The AI was systematically discriminating. Jonathan contacted investigative journalist Elena Cortez. Elena specialized in tech accountability stories. She'd exposed data breaches, privacy violations, algorithmic failures. This was her expertise. Elena investigated HireRight AI, how it worked, how it was trained, what data it used. She found former TechHire Solutions engineers willing to talk anonymously. They confirmed the training data was biased. The company knew but didn't care. Our job was optimization, not fairness. We maximized for predictive accuracy based on historical data. If that data was biased, that's not our problem. Elena published her investigation, March 2022. How AI hiring systems learned to discriminate. The death of Marcus Williams. The article went viral. Millions of views. National outrage. Civil rights organizations demanded federal investigation. EEOC, Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, launched probe into HireRight AI and TechHire Solutions. Detective David Harrington coordinated with federal investigators, not a criminal case initially, but potential civil rights violations, evidence collection, company interviews, algorithm auditing. Criminal psychologist Marcus Chen provided expert analysis. The psychological impact of algorithmic rejection is profound. When humans reject you, you can rationalize, maybe they had a bad day, maybe someone else was slightly better. But when an algorithm rejects you, it feels absolute, scientific, objective. The machine has calculated your worth and found you lacking. That's psychologically devastating. Elena continued investigating, found 63 other suicides linked to long-term unemployment and repeated algorithmic rejections. All had applied to companies using HireRight AI or similar systems. All had similar profiles: qualified, experienced, over 40, ethnic minorities, women, systematically filtered out by biased algorithms. EOC findings were damning. HireRight AI violated Title VII of Civil Rights Act, disparate impact discrimination. Even if unintentional, the system systematically disadvantaged protected classes. TechHire Solutions faced massive liability, hundreds of millions in potential damages. Brandon Mitchell's defense: we didn't program bias, we just trained the AI on historical data. The algorithm learned patterns objectively. But that was exactly the problem. Objective learning from biased data produces biased outcomes. Garbage in, garbage out. The AI perfectly replicated historical discrimination because that's what it was trained to do. Make hiring decisions like companies did from 1990 to 2010, when discrimination was rampant but harder to detect. Trial testimony from AI ethics expert Dr. Sarah Kim. When you train AI on biased historical data, you don't eliminate bias, you codify it. You make it invisible, automated, and scalable. A racist recruiter might reject 100 qualified minority candidates in their career. A biased AI can reject 1 million in a day, and nobody notices because it's just the algorithm. TechHire Solutions settled. Class action lawsuit, $800 million. Distributed to candidates who could prove HireRight AI rejected them despite qualifications. Dorothy Williams received $3.2 million. Money couldn't bring Marcus back, but it was acknowledgement. Your son was wronged. The system failed him. His death was not his fault. Brandon Mitchell resigned. TechHire Solutions shut down HireRight AI permanently, but the damage was done. Millions of candidates had been filtered by biased algorithms. How many gave up? How many lost confidence? How many, like Marcus, couldn't survive the repeated rejection? New regulations emerged. AI hiring systems must undergo bias testing, regular audits, transparency requirements. Candidates have right to know if AI screened their application. Companies must provide explanation for rejections, right to human review. These protections came too late for Marcus, but they might save others. Dorothy Williams became an advocate, speaking at conferences, testifying before Congress. My son thought he failed, but the system failed him. AI isn't objective, just because it's a machine. It's only as good as the data we feed it. And if we feed it our worst history, our racism, our sexism, our ageism, it will give us our worst future. Marcus deserved better. Every candidate deserves better. Elena's investigation won journalism awards, but she remained haunted by Marcus's story. He applied to 47 companies. Not one recruiter saw his resume. Not one human made a decision. An algorithm decided he wasn't worth their time. And he died believing that judgment was correct. That's the cruelty of automated bias. It's invisible. Victims blame themselves. Marcus Chen's psychological analysis became required reading in AI ethics courses. Marcus Williams experienced algorithmic dehumanization, reduced to data points, name, age, employment dates. The AI saw patterns, not potential, numbers, not humanity. When rejection is automated and opaque, candidates internalize it as personal failure. They can't fight an invisible system. They can't appeal to an algorithm's humanity because it has none. Today, Dorothy keeps Marcus's Stanford diploma on her mantle, next to his photo, smiling, proud. Before the algorithm destroyed him, she tells his story to anyone who'll listen. The companies said they eliminated bias by using AI, but they just hid it, made it faster, made it scalable, made it deadly. My son deserved a chance. Just one interview, one human conversation. That's all he needed. But the algorithm never gave him that chance. This story ends with Marcus Williams dead, Brandon Mitchell rich, and millions of job seekers still facing algorithmic screening. Some algorithms have improved. Bias testing is more common, but the fundamental problem remains. AI trained on our biased past will replicate that bias unless we actively intervene. And invisible bias is the most dangerous kind, because victims can't fight what they can't see. Marcus Williams was perfect on paper. Stanford MBA, Goldman Sachs experience, startup leadership. But none of that mattered. The algorithm saw a name, saw an age, saw a pattern that matched historical rejection, and in 0.3 seconds decided his fate, 47 times, until he couldn't take it anymore. Be careful what we automate. Be careful what we optimize. Because when we let algorithms make decisions about human worth, we risk automating our worst instincts. And the casualties aren't just data points. They're people, brilliant people, like Marcus Williams, who deserved so much better than an algorithm's rejection.